Back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We are moving into our fourth segment here, talking about Mark Vientos and his incredible start to the season for the New York Mets and the impact on the team. So let's get into it. So, going over Vientos' stats currently for the Mets are absolutely insane. 66 plate appearances for him, hit 5 home runs, has a WOBA of 457, which is absolutely insane. His weighted runs created plus is 206, already has 1.1 WAR in just 66 plate appearances. Insane. And also, you look at his hard hitting, or you look at his batted ball data, and it's also really incredible there as well. I mean, first of all, you look at the hard hit rate, and it's at 34.8%, which is really, really great so far for him. It is down from last year, which is very interesting, but still the barrel percentage is up by 3%, and the hard hit percentage is down 4, so still around last year, but he's right around his expected WOBA, so it's not even like he's overperforming that much. Apparently, he's just doing really, really well, and he's just being a really good player. And yeah, he's been incredible so far this year for the Mets. Just been a big part of why this team has done better recently. Still not great. They've won 3 out of 5, which is an improvement, but still not great. Almost blew the game last night to the Nationals with the bullpen. Man, that bullpen is a disaster. But yeah, overall, Vientos has done great for the Mets and has been a big impact on this team. And not only that, he's played third base as well, which is a big surprise. When you look at the Mets, you kind of don't expect Vientos to play third base, but he's done really well there, and he showed off a good arm, good range, and been a really solid player there. So for Vientos, I think that overall he's done a really great job for this Mets team and been very, very exciting. Now, when looking at his impact on the team, I think it's going to be very interesting to watch what the Mets do in the future. Of course, him and Beatty were in a little bit of a deadlock for the third base job position over the past 2-3 years, really. And it seems like it's finally gotten solved this year. Brett Beatty is back down in the minor leagues, and Vientos is batting 4th or 5th for the Mets every day, playing third base. So looks like it's pretty clear who won that job. I think Beatty's time with the Mets might come to an end rather quickly. I think that I would not be surprised if he's traded at the deadline. Let's just put it that way. I think that overall it might be time for both parties to move on from each other. It'll be very interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, Vientos has done amazing this year, and he's really helped this Mets lineup. When you've had your guys like McNeil, like Lindor at times, when you've had Marte struggling, not doing great, having Francisco Alvarez be out of the lineup for a month because of injury. You need guys like this step up, and Vientos has done just that. And another thing is, I think he's really carving a long-term career with the Mets right now. Once JD Martinez was signed, I kind of thought Mark Vientos requested trade from the Mets. This is a guy who all throughout the offseason, all throughout spring training, we were told he's the team starting DH. No one is taking that job from him. We want to see what he's got over there. We were like, okay, cool. I wasn't the highest on Mark Vientos personally. I kind of thought the Mets should have traded him because I didn't think he had a spot in this team. But I was like, okay, you know what? I trust David Stearns' judgment. If he thinks Mark Vientos has the chance to be a really good MLB player and has the chance to show what he's got in the DH spot, I trust him. And then we signed JD Martinez. It was kind of a step back. And I was like, okay, I'm very happy we signed JD Martinez. I think he's a really great player. But at the same time, you're telling Vientos he's going to be the starting DH for the entire offseason. Then right as the season is about to start, Martinez takes the role from him, and you sign him, a 36-year-old, when you're kind of on the bridge of contention and not contention. It was very interesting, and I think Vientos took that personally. Really tore up AAA like he has in the past, came up to MLB and not just hit the ball, but also was playing defense really well. I think that was the big problem with him. That was a really big concern with him in the future, with what he was going to do with his defense, and it is going to be very, very interesting to see where his defense does go from here. But look at the Mets' third base position. I mean, this has been something that has been unresolved for a long time now. Since David Wright had an injury, and since David Wright retired, really, the Mets have not had a consistent third baseman. I mean, the amount of players they've had play over there is insane. I mean, we had Jose Reyes playing there at one point, way past his prime. That was crazy. I mean, we've had Beatty there the past 2 years, who was supposed to be kind of the savior for it. Started off really well, but has consistently showed he's just not an MLB bat at this point. So it'll be nice to see that Vientos may carve out a full-time role with this Mets team and may end up being a full-time player for them. I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see what does end up happening with him and where he does end up going. I mean, you have a very easy spot for Alex Bregman in the offseason, and if they don't spend on him, if you lose out on Soto, which I think will probably happen at this point, I don't think Soto wants to come to this organization. If you spend on him, I think that it'll be interesting to see where Vientos plays, but he's doing really, really, really well so far, having an amazing season, just doing absolutely amazing for this Mets team, and really just hitting the cover off the ball. I mean, I as a Mets fan, I did not expect much from him. I didn't think he would be the greatest player, and I kind of thought that he was just going to be a DH that didn't hit well enough to justify being a full-time DH, kind of a 4A player. But he's really proved me wrong this year. And could it be a flop? Sure, but it doesn't really look like that right now. It's looking like he's legit. It's looking like he's really here to stay, and it's looking like he's a consistent MLB player. And it'll be interesting to see. Sorry, I had to shut off my mic there. I was coughing, so I caught it before you guys heard on the stream, so that was good. But yeah, very excited to watch Vientos, honestly, in the future. I love his swing. I think it's very compact, very easy to look at, very easy to swing with, very easy to play with, and just overall, I think that he provides an interesting conversation for the Mets. That is this guy a full-time? Is he a full-time player, first of all, and is he a third baseman? Is he a first baseman? Is he a DH? And it's going to be very, very interesting to see how the Mets do end up taking into consideration Vientos' future with the organization, what position he does play, and if they keep going with him. I think at this point it's very clear he's won the third base job, but hitting this well, I think he can maybe really reignite the offense for this team and really reignite this team that has underperformed so much this year. And it would be very, very interesting to watch and very interesting to see how he does end up performing this year. So someone I'm definitely watching throughout the rest of this year. And yeah, very, very interested to see what does end up happening with him. So yeah, that is our fourth segment here, talking about Mark Vientos and the amazing season he has had for the New York Mets. Going into our fifth and final segment, which is going to be talking about MLB.com's Rookie of the Year poll and just my overall thoughts on it, and do I agree with it? So yeah, talk about that, and we'll see you after the break. So thanks, Sam. Bye.